Hi Daniel, it's good to meet you. It was great to sort of have a brief chat back at the premiere the other week. So we're here to talk about the film that you're in, Bermondsey Tales. But before we get to that, I just wanted to go back a little bit to sort of 10, 12 years ago when you were probably the first subject to be cancelled. Obviously, an awful time for you. You went through, everything seemed to crash down about your ears. But with all that happening, you have come back, and how did you work your way out of all of that?
Um, yeah, I mean that was a that was a tricky time for me. I mean, when you're a young sort of aspiring comedian, and I was sort of at the spearhead of social media. I was one of the first social media comedians. I was certainly the first to hit a million on Facebook, and I was big on Vine and
Yeah,
uh, Instagram and all that. Um, I worked out quite quickly that being quite controversial got you a lot of exposure, a lot of followers and stuff, and I really went down that route, and that led me to pushing the line quite a lot. And you often get it wrong, and I was the victim of mob culture, of cancel culture. I think I was easy pickings for the press and stuff. I laid it all out on the plate for them. And now that I've got three daughters, I look back on some of me stuff back then, and I do cringe. And I think I understand why it rattled a lot of people. And you've got to have a bit of a responsibility with having a big following, which I've learned I've matured over the last 10 years. And I think really to answer your question, when I look back on that, I was rightly so sort of slapped on the wrist, but I think a little bit too hard. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? I mean that
yeah.
it completely destroyed everything. But I mean, I do look back on some of the stuff back then, and I think I would have done it differently. But it makes a beautiful story, and ultimately, what don't kill you makes you stronger. And after I spent a bit of time, licking my wounds, I was never going to stop creating. I'm a creative by heart. I write and create comedy, films, and whatever. I want to make people laugh and entertain people. I'm a storyteller, and I like observing and commenting on what's going on in the world and how we behave as people. So it's in me. I couldn't stop doing that. And I just got back to work, mate. Got back to work. And I think really things started happening for me um, in a real positive way over the last sort of 19 months, like the last 2 years, where I went through a real big shift in my life, in my way of living, but going sober, sorting out my mental health. And I think I'm not superstitious or spiritual, but I think when the time was right, when I'd matured enough, when I started using my platform for good positive things, like my charity here, Men and Their Emotions, and
Yeah.
and sharing my struggles with addiction, and then going sober. That's when the universe gave back to me, and I'm 35 dates now into a sold out tour, 35 sellout shows. These films are coming out that we've worked so hard on, and yeah, it's all good positive things, man.
Well, I mean, I would say that it would probably even more than 19 months ago that the glimmer of a kind of like a resurgence in your career began around about sort of 2017 when, and it's over your shoulder, Fanged Up was made, and you were the lead role in that. That would seem to, I mean, how did that come about?
Fanged Up. I love Fanged Up, man. It's like Fanged Up was the first film I ever made, and it was the first time I was in a film, and I was the lead in the film, and I wrote that with Nick Nevin, and it got rewritten by a couple of other people, and that was down to Terry Stone. Terry Stone gave me an opportunity there. I think he saw the power in my following, that we could utilize my following to recoup the money in the film for the investors. But I was still quite toxic as a brand then, so. It never got picked up by the big distributors, but as a film, I love it. The character that I portray in there, I managed to immerse myself in. It's good fun. It's like an escape film, where you got to escape from the prison. There's
Yeah.
action. I love that film. I really do, and I'm a firm believer that one day I'll make a film that's so powerful that is so big, as an actor and also as a writer, that it will bring Fanged Up back to life. They'll look back and go, well, what else has he made?
Yeah. Yeah.
Once it grows bigger than me or the UK or the fucking, oh, excuse me, or the media, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
One day that will get plucked back out, and it will become an amazing worldwide film. I'm a strong believer in that.
Now you say about Terry Stone being involved in Fanged Up. It was Terry Stone that you ended up working with in the film after that, which was The Last Heist, which was only about 19 months ago, 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
So was he sort of instrumental in getting you on board with that? Because Michael Head, who's done Bermondsey Tales, wrote that as well. So it seems to be a lot of loose ends sort of starting to tie together there.
Terry Stone always gave me opportunity. He was there, like he gave me the opportunity with Fanged Up, and I actually done the last heist with in the theatre with Michael Head. Michael Head wrote it as a West End theatre play,
Yeah.
and he cast me in it to act in it. It was a four-hander. We were on stage for about an hour and a half. It was a real intense process, and it was something that I wanted to do. Theatre work, stage work. I'm an actor by trade. I've done acting before I was doing comedy work, but I knew I was going to make the transition into film work. So I really wanted people to be able to look back and say, look, he's done good stage work. He's been to acting school and all of this stuff. And doing that play really was like a test for me as an actor. And Michael gave me that opportunity and I loved it. And as a result of my sort of relationship with both being working class lads, both a passion for storytelling, and then also him wanting to get into film, me just doing the film, I said I want to turn that into a film. I actually produced that film, so I raised the money for that film and I gave it to Terry Stone, who created the film, who made the film for me. So we've got Terry Stone to thank for the last heist. It was really his brains that put it all together, and we shot that through lockdown, so it was a real tricky one to do, and low budget, short amount of time, but a wicked film.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I spoke to Terry about The Last Heist some while ago, but for Michael Head to cast you in the theatre version is quite a leap of faith, and then obviously to go on to Bermondsey Tales must have been quite a leap of faith for him to commit to you in such a way.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's deeper than that. Me and Michael are friends. Do you know what I mean? And from Michael's perspective, I gave him an opportunity to turn his screenplay into a film. So I think that Michael gave me an opportunity off the back of that to
Right.
actually go into Mr. Kiss, which is another film that we've done with Ray Burdiss. It's not out yet, but Michael wrote that and made that with Ray Burdiss under a different production company. And I think what happened was, as a way of saying thank you for making the last heist, he cast me in Mr. Kiss, and I think off the back of seeing me acting Mr. Kiss, I think my ability got me Bermondsey Tales. I'm excited to see what else Michael comes up with, man, because he's a very creative, hardworking, gritty kind of writer and director and actor. So
Yeah.
and I think we kind of have a little unwritten agreement that where there's opportunities, we're going to try and both help each other.
Yeah. So Bermondsey Tales, is, really entertaining. I really enjoyed the night when we saw it. But you're surrounded by this a phenomenal cast, an absolutely brilliant cast. You've got everyone from like John Hannah to Frank Harper, Alan Ford, Mike himself is in it. Did you ever kind of find yourself a little bit intimidated by the cast that you were surrounded by?
Yeah, 100%. I found it very difficult communicating with Alan Ford because I was just starstruck. Snatch is an iconic film,
Yeah.
and it's sort of inbred in my upbringing. And as a sort of a London geezer myself, or like
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I'm Clapham, not really London, but I mean, as like a bit of a lad's lad, that film was iconic to me. Snatch, Guy Ritchie's films, all of that. So to have a couple of the lads from that in there was, yeah, I was starstruck, to be completely honest with you. I got to know Alan Ford, and he advised me, gave me some advice on the acting stuff, and he was a real cool guy to work with. But yeah, in an answer, yeah, and I completely kind of felt like shit. What am I doing here? And with John Hannah, I mean, that's actually the second film I've done with John Hannah, because he's in Mr. Kiss as well.
All
But
right.
John Hannah, oh my God, what an amazing man. I mean, intimidating to look at, and to, like, he's been in The Mummy and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of actors, and I do my research, and I watch films and stuff like that, and I'm a big fan of his work. There's a lot of pieces that he's done that I've watched, and you know, and to be on set with him was surreal. But he knew, I think he knew that I was a little bit shy or
Yeah.
maybe a bit intimidated, and he went above and beyond to relax me, and then helped me with my acting, which was, and to watch him work is unbelievable. I mean, he takes that, it's like he takes a script and forgets it, and then when you're doing it, he's just so reactive,
Yeah.
so reactive. So sometimes with the acting, it's just, you can find you can see people that act and they're just saying their lines, they're waiting for their turn to say their lines. And that's what one thing I learned from John watching him was that you got to forget your lines and you've got to be in the scene, and they got to come as a reaction to what's going on. I know it sounds simple, but when you watch someone like that do it, it's amazing.
He's got some great sort of scenes in that, but then you've got a great scene in this. It's the scene in the bar, which is seen from two different perspectives, which is a
Yeah.
hilarious scene. It's one of the best scenes in the film.
Oh,
How did you
thank you.
how did you find filming that?
Well, I'm a comedian. I'm a comedy actor. I mean, I'm prepared to lose myself on my social media, and I write those kind of sketches and create them for my social media
Yeah,
anyway. But to do it, on camera in front of a 30 strong crew or whatever, yeah, it was. But you got to lose yourself in it.
yeah,
But it's. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's difficult for me to watch that stuff and work out if it's funny or not because it's me doing it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I find it difficult. Whereas, so I watched it and I was like, "Ugh, is it good? Is it funny?" Because
But
it's
I
so
think
long.
yeah, but I mean, it's funny because the initial part where which you see, which is all bravado, and then you
Yeah,
see what really happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what makes it so
yeah.
funny. But you're on anyway. You're on tour now, and you brought back. Have you brought back you as the actor, or is it you as Dapper Laughs?
No, I mean Dapper Laughs is essentially was just the handles of my social media,
Right.
and back in the day, was a character that I'd created. Dapper Laughs was a Vine character and
Yeah.
a character that really took lad culture to the extreme back when I was younger. But so no, it's just my social media handles. But I'm on tour as myself for the first time. Do you know what I mean? Which was a big risk for me because everyone knows my handles. Do you know
Yeah.
what I
Of
mean?
course. Of course.
They know my face, but they don't. I didn't think people knew my name. Daniel O'Reilly. It's not what I'm well known for. But we put the tour on sale, and it must be the right time because, like I said, we've had 35 sellout shows in a row, 25,000 tickets gone. I mean, it's been intense week after week for three sellout shows a week, and I've been going for months. And at the end of this week, it breaks for a few months, and then we do the same again, another 20 shows. So it's oh man, I couldn't express, I couldn't explain to someone that never thought they'd do stand up comedy again. It's made my life.
It's
It's
been a bit
brilliant.
of a godsend then, by the sound of it.
Yeah, and
So
I've just had a baby girl as well, by the way. So it's really happy times.
yes,
Yeah,
and you're not sleeping either, I would imagine. Then if you
I'm
got you
knackered.
so anyway, so finally, then we always ask actors this. Just going back right to your very much younger days. Can you remember the first film you saw on the big screen?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it was. Uh, My dad used to take me to the cinema, God rest his soul, and I think there's two. What I think it was Robin Hood with Kevin Costner.
Oh, right, 1991.
Yeah, I think it was. I was born in '84.
Oh, right. Okay. You're making me feel
Yeah,
old now.
yeah. So it might. I don't know if it was that one. I can remember watching that one, but now that you said it so early, maybe it wasn't that one. I know I did go to the cinema to watch that because we came out of the cinema afterwards and we went home, and my dad made me a bow and arrow and put some petrol on the end of it and set light to it, and I was firing the arrow with the thing like in the movie. Me
Right.
and my dad used to love films, so
Yeah, yeah.
I can remember that one. I can remember watching that one in the cinema. Yeah, Kevin Costner.
I think my abiding memory of that is I went to see it with a bunch of mates, and it's right at the very, very end, and the cameo, and Sean Connery appears, and all you hear off camera is "Stop!" and just everyone creases up laughing,
Yeah,
But still.
brilliant.
Anyway, Daniel, it's great to talk to you. Thank you ever so much for your time. Very much look forward to seeing what you've got coming up next film-wise, particularly with these films that are already made and we're just waiting for a release on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm blessed to even be sat here talking to you about film. You know, if anyone that's in this industry, if you're anything like me, you know, comedy actor, comedian, actor,
Yeah,
you dream of making films. So we feel blessed.
that's great. Thanks, Daniel. You take care.
All right. Thank you.